Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday and happy almost Christmas. I hope you are having a wonderful week and that you are preparing for a slightly different Christmas than we're maybe used to, but I think it's going to be amazing nonetheless. I am very much looking forward to just some downtime to spend with my family after a crazy few months of teaching, hybrid teaching. So I'm not going to be live today, but I thought I would share this pre-recorded video that demonstrates how to make these cute little Christmas tree boxes. Now, I'm going to show you how to make the large one today. Okay, they stand up and this one opens up and holds, what did I put in there? Four little Lindor chocolate gingerbread truffles. And then this little guy I actually sealed. So this is more of a decorative one. You certainly could make this into a box, but it wouldn't hold a whole lot. You'd have to put probably smaller treats in there, maybe some Hershey Kisses or something. But I'm going to show you how to make this little box. It's so easy. And you can make these in all sorts of sizes and use them as decor or as table settings for your Christmas table. All right, so I'm going to show you how to do this. It's really simple. Not a ton of bits and pieces to put this one together. I'm going to start with a piece of Pear Pizzazz cardstock. Now, I chose Pear Pizzazz because that is the lighter green that is in the Heartwarming Hugs DSP that I used, okay? You could use any shade of green, really. So this piece is cut to 2.5 by 11.5 inches, okay? 2.5 by 11.5. So with the 2.5 inch side at the top, I put this in my trimmer and I scored at 1/4 inch on this side, and then I flipped it and scored 1/4 inch on this side. Okay, so I've got 1/4 inch little score lines on both sides of the long side of my cardstock. Okay, then if I rotate it, put it in my trimmer this way with the 11.5 inch side at the top, I scored at 1/2 inch, at 3, and at 7.25. So 1/2, 3, and 7.25. Okay, all of these measurements will be posted in the video description so you can refer back to them. Okay, so the next step, I am going to go ahead and trim along trim these little flaps. So I'm trimming up to that horizontal score line all the way around. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Okay, and then these little teeny tiny rectangles here, I'm actually going to just cut them right off. We don't need them. So we'll get rid of that little guy and this little guy. Okay, now the next thing that I need to do is bevel my my flap. So I'm going to take and I'm going to cut this one at a little bit of an angle, just with my snips. It doesn't have to be perfect. But that's just going to make it a little bit easier to close my box. And then same thing with these guys. Now these I'm going to bevel just a little teeny bit. Okay, and again, that's just so that because we never ever, our measurements are never quite perfect. By beveling it a little bit, it gives us just a little bit of wiggle room in case our box isn't quite square. It allows us to get it square. Okay, so I'm just cutting little notches out on each little flap. Okay, now this point right here, this is going to be the tip, the pointiest end of our box. Now, in order to allow this to come together, we actually need to bevel this quite a bit more. So I'm going to cut out a larger bevel. And you'll see why in a second. Okay, and then I'm going to bevel these guys a little bit as well. Okay, so there is my box, and honestly, that's really all there is to it. So we're going to fold along all of our score lines. And you're going to want to burnish. You want to use your bone folder, make sure those are folded. That will allow your box to come together easily. So we'll just burnish this all the way around. And then our little flap here. Okay, and then I'm also going to fold all of of these score lines as well. Okay, now can you see how this is going to come together? Like seriously, it goes like that. It's so simple. Okay, now before we do that, we need some die cut triangles. So these are die cut using the stitch triangle dies. This is the largest of this particular shape triangle. Okay, I've cut 2 of them because my box needs a front and a back. So this is essentially going to glue like this. Okay, that's the way that's going to come together. So what I did with the box lying flat, I used liquid glue for this, and I just find the liquid glue is a little bit easier to maneuver whenever I'm assembling a box. It gives me time to kind of adjust my sides and make sure everything is square. So I put a little bit of glue along one of those narrow flaps, and then I'm going to take and lay one of the long sides of my triangle just flush with my score line and press it into place. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on the other flap with my other triangle. So that's going to go on just like that. Okay, and again, I want to make sure it comes right up to the score line but doesn't go over it. Okay, and this glue actually sets up pretty quickly. I'm just burnishing it a little bit just to help it along. Okay, and then this is going to tuck in, and we're going to glue these sides in like this. Like, talk about a simple box, right? So easy. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add a little bit of adhesive onto each of these little flaps. Okay, and then I'm going to bring one side in and hold it, and then the other side in and hold it. And then I just find I like to just kind of hold it for a minute to give it a chance to set up. And honestly, that's it. That's all there is to it. It is such a quick and easy little box to make. Okay, my flap closes like that, and there we go. How simple is that? All right, now we're going to decorate this just a little bit. So I've cut the neck size down triangle. So I chose this pattern because I thought it kind of looked like ornaments on a tree. We could use the gingham side as well. That's what I used on this little guy. But I'm going to use the colorful side this time. So I'm just going to center that on one of my panels. Now you could certainly glue these panels on ahead of time if you wanted to. I just wanted to show you real quick how to put that box together. And you, of course, can decorate this any way you'd like. You could certainly use a stamp set to stamp on your triangles before you die cut them. You could add embellishments, die cut ornaments, ribbon. There are all sorts of things you could do to decorate your tree. So that's going to tuck in there. My little flap is going to go in like that. Okay. And there's my little box. Okay, now I also cut a stitch star. So this is from the Stitch Stars dies. This is the second smallest. Okay, we're going to put just a little bit of glue. I like this because it kind of hides. You see how sometimes, it depends how much I trim that little joint there. Sometimes you get a little bit of a gap, but we're going to put our star on, and that's going to conceal that. And no one will know. Okay, so there's our little star. And then I wanted to put a cute little sentiment on. So I used this Joy and Cheer sentiment from the Triangle stamp set. So this coordinates with the Stitch Rectangle dies. This one is retiring, so you're going to want to pick this up sooner than later. It's going to be gone as of January 5th, okay? I think it's also on sale now that I'm thinking about it. So I'm going to stamp that Joy and Cheer in some real red ink. So we'll just ink that up. This is a piece of, what is this? 7/8 by, I don't know, 3.5 or so cardstock. And we're just going to stamp our Joy and Cheer. And then I'm going to bring in my tailored tag punch and cut notches in the end. So I'm just going to slide this in, cut my little... This is probably longer than I need it, so I'm going to trim off a little bit of the excess. Okay, and then same thing on this end. Okay, and then we're going to add a little bitty bow. So this is some of my very favorite braided linen. This is also retiring, so pick it up before it goes away. I'm pretty sure this stuff's on sale as well. So we'll tie our quick little bow here. And just adjust our loops. I want a fairly bitty bow. I don't want it to be too big. And then we'll trim this off the rule. And I like to trim my ends at a bit of an angle. I just feel like it looks a little bit more finished. And then we're going to add a glue dot to the end of our banner. And then that's going to go across the front of my tree with a couple of dimensionals. And I have my wonky sheet of dimensionals here that was cut right through. So we'll just get rid of those backings and pop this little guy on just like that. Isn't that cute? Like, how fun are those for table settings for Christmas dinner? I think I'm going to put these at my husband and my son's places, put some little treats in them for them. All right, I hope you enjoy that quick little project. There's still time to make these. Christmas is still a few days away. So I hope you give them a try. It's a fun little easy way to make some cute little treat holders. Okay, thanks for joining me today, everyone. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas. And here's hoping 2021 is a whole lot better than 2020 was. Bye for now.